like the fact that the Republican Party was putting this on. All of our candidates agreed to the Republican Party putting it on, and I just want to shout out a huge thank you to how awesome these guys are and how professional they have always been in anything that they have ever done. These two guys here put a lot of work into anything that they have ever done. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Brandon Taylor and Lawrence Sutton, and for all the work that they have put in to this county, and to really do a great job of getting information out there. So I just want to say thank you to them. And, really our job is to bring you the information and then let you decide what you think is the best candidate for the job. So I would like to start this night with a prayer. So we have asked the Lawrence County Circuit Court Clerk, Tommy Lee Kidd, to start us off with a prayer. So he and Abigail are going to come up and lead us with a prayer. Tommy?
Dear God, we come to you tonight. And God, we come to you with humble hearts. God, you tell us in your word, when we come to you, we need to come to you with a clean heart. And Lord, I just ask right now that you forgive us of our sins where we failed you today. Lord, the thoughts I had today, Lord, that I shouldn't have had. Lord, I pray that you forgive us for that. And God, I thank you for the blood of Jesus that covers those sins. Thank you so much for the county that we live in. God, we live in a wonderful, wonderful country, and we pray for our national leaders. We pray as we're having conflicts right now over our nation, over our world. God, we pray for the leaders. We pray that they look to you for guidance. God, we pray for our leaders locally. And God, as we are here tonight to hear a debate, Lord, different ideas from different folks. God, I just pray that everything that is done tonight and everything going forward, Lord, that we give you the honor and the glory for all of that. God, I thank you for the county that we live in. Lord, we have wonderful things going on in this county. We have people that are sick, people that are hurting. And God, we live in a county where we help each other out. And God, I thank you for that, because that doesn't happen in a lot of places. God, we thank you for this, again, for this wonderful country we live in. And God, as we go into our election time, Lord, I pray that we all look to you for guidance as we go to the polls. And God, I just pray that we all be able to get along, to work civilly together. And God, as we do that, Lord, I pray that you give us the vision that would help us to go forward and help our fellow man. Just as Jesus, you came and gave us the example of helping everybody else, that we help our fellow man. God, we thank you most of all for sending Jesus for us, not leaving him in that grave, raising him on the third day, so that if we believe in that in our heart, that we can have the chance to go to heaven too. All this we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right, and we're going to have Shane Eaton, who will be on a little later tonight, come and lead us in our pledge. He is a veteran here in Lawrence County, and he is going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so tonight, as we prepare, we will welcome Gary Mills. John Myers, and Chris Hanna. And I'll turn it over to Brendan Taylor and Lawrence Sutton.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, gentlemen, for being willing to engage in this debate tonight. Lawrence and I both really respect all three of you and appreciate your friendship, appreciate your professionalism. Tonight, each question, we'll start off with giving each one of you 90 seconds to give an introduction of yourself. Each question will give you 90 seconds to answer. If one of you needs a rebuttal, if called out by the other candidate, we'll give a 30-second per question for a rebuttal if needed. Then at the end of this, we'll give each one of you 3 minutes for a closing statement. If at any time you need to step in and interrupt for a question, we can pause and we can work through any situation. Before we started, we had these gentlemen draw numbers out of a hat. So going first tonight will be Gary Mills, second will be John Myers, and third will be Chris Hanna. All right, are you gentlemen ready? Ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, remember to speak close to the microphone so that we can hear you. And again, thank you all for being here. Beside me is Mr. Lawrence Sutton. Lawrence, you want to introduce yourself before we get started? I'm sorry.
You've already introduced me.
You are. You're a good friend of mine. Appreciate you being here, Lawrence. So Lawrence and I, just so that everyone will know, we will alternate on the questions. I will ask one question, and then Lawrence will ask another question. We'll also go down the list of 1, 2, 3, according to each candidate getting the question first. So you'll see how it starts to flow once we get started. All right, so starting off tonight, we'll start with you, Mr. Gary Mills, and you have 90 seconds to give your introduction. Go ahead when you're ready, sir.
All right. I am Gary Mills. I am longtime officer here in Lawrence County. Married, my wife Jessica, sitting down here. I'm a father, grandfather. Spent my whole life here in Lawrence County. Have been with the Loretta Police Department for probably the past 8 years, 9 years, investigator there. Before that, I was a narcotics investigator with the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department. And just looking forward to the debate tonight.
Thank you, sir. Second candidate, John Myers. John, you have 90 seconds for your introduction.
Well, thanks for putting this together, Brandon. I know you and Lawrence and the radio station worked really hard to get this organized, and I just want to let you know I appreciate it. For y'all that don't know me, I'm John Myers, and I'm the sitting sheriff of Lawrence County. I'm also the Republican nominee for Lawrence County. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a first-generation law enforcement officer and a first-generation elected official. I started my law enforcement career right here in Lawrence County in 1992, a really long time ago. And I worked my way up to the top where I am now. And when I say I worked my way up here. I didn't get anything given to me. And I'm proud to say that I'm sheriff of this county now. When people ask me why I'm running for my third term, my answer is always the same. Number one, I love my job. I love what I do. I love serving this community that I live in and my family lives in. And number two, we've got the sheriff's office in a really good place right now. And we want to continue doing great things for this county. We worked really hard to get where we're at, and we don't want to see it fall to the wayside. We want to keep doing what we've been doing for this county. I hope everybody listens really close to what we say tonight, and I hope they take our answers to heart. And if there's anybody that's undecided that's watching tonight, I hope tonight kind of seals the deal for them. But thank you.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, you have 90 seconds for an introduction. You may hear the timer going off. For those of you that's just a timer going up. You can't see it, but all the individuals in the debate can see it. Chris Hanna, go ahead with your introduction. Thank you.
Sure. I'm Chris Hanna, and I would like to start out by wishing my radio buddy, if you remember me on Trooper Thursdays with Stephen Ellis, today's Stephen's birthday, and I want to give him a shout out and happy birthday. So I am Chris Hanna. I have been in law enforcement for 33 years. I started out with the sheriff's office here back in 1990, 4. I started in the jail. John and I actually worked together. I worked through the ranks of the Sheriff's Department to patrol, and in 2002, I got hired with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I am currently a sergeant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. But that's not what I'm proud of. What I'm proud of is I'm a Lawrence County citizen. I've been married for 32 years to Billy Joe Hannah. I have a daughter, Reagan, son-in-law, Adam, and I have two wonderful grandkids, Mavi, Claire, and little brother. So I love them dearly. So that I'm proud. It's an understatement. I sit up here and I get emotional when I talk about my kids. And I get the same question John does. Why do you want to be sheriff? I want to make a change. I was always taught to leave stuff better than what you found it. I'm not saying it's bad, but every day we go to work, you ought to strive to be better. And you ought to strive to make the people that you work with better. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start off. Gary Mills, according to the way we drew numbers, you're first. And so you get the first question, but all three candidates will be receiving the same question. Gary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What is your leadership philosophy and how should the sheriff department be managed?
Well, I think you should lead from the front. I think the sheriff should be at the department, should be there for the deputies to see. I believe the sheriff should be there if the citizens come in and need to speak with you. And if you're there and you show your deputies that you care and start asking them about their training and where they want to be in a few years, I believe you'll start building up morale and you'll build a more professional department and start working on training and just put the right people in place.
Okay, Gary, thank you. John Myers, same question. What is your leadership philosophy and how should the sheriff department be managed?
Well, I mean, I don't really know about a philosophy. What I try to instill in my employees is hard work. I'm a doer. I mean, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. And I think you can accomplish anything with hard work. And it's important that your employees see that you work hard, because what that does is that trickles down to them. There's lead by example, lead from the front, all that holds true, but there's nothing more important than working hard and letting your people see that you work hard. Whenever we have a new hire come in and for a short interview, I always say I need a hardworking employee and a low maintenance employee. Those are the two big things that I look at. So if there's a philosophy, sort of say, as far as leadership, it's just work hard. Just come in and work hard.
Okay, thank you. Chris Hanna, same question. What is your leadership philosophy and how should the sheriff department be managed?
I think as a department head, you lead by example. You don't ask anybody to do anything that you're not willing to do. I think as you do that, you build trust not only in the people that you work with, you build trust in the people you serve. Another thing that I really believe in on leadership is direction and accountability. Everybody needs to know what their duties are. They need to understand this is what you're going to do day to day. And by doing that, the citizens' needs and complaints are first and foremost. If they do not do that, that's when you hold them accountable for it. What does that mean? That means a simple talking to, it means simple this or that, but you have to let this generation know what's accepted and what's not accepted. I think as a sheriff, if you go in and work every day and you lead by example, I think people's going to want to come work for you because they see what you stand for. Think about that. Everybody can have a title. Not everybody that deserves to have that title. And I hold myself accountable to be that person. Not only if I'm sheriff, I have to supervise guys now. They don't work for me, they work with me. And that's what we will do at the sheriff's department. They're not my men, they're not your men, they're the county's men. We will work together as a group. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming out today. I greatly appreciate what you guys are doing. Greatly appreciate how you're conducting yourselves in the debate. John Myers, first question is for you. What should be done in the next 4 years to combat ongoing problems of illegal drugs and overdose deaths in our county?
So this was a platform that I ran on in 2018 and again in 2022 and again this year. Drugs and crime related to drug addiction is always going to be a priority at the sheriff's office. When I took office in 2018, we implemented a zero tolerance policy, and it paid dividends. I have two investigators right now assigned to the drug unit that are doing an incredible job. It's serious to the point to where I consider methamphetamine, which is still the drug of choice in our community. Fentanyl is a close second, but it's still the root cause of the majority of our crime in this community, and it's important that we stay out in front of it and we press the fight, and we do that. We target mid to upper level dealers. We don't turn our back to the addicts. But it's important to where when I first took office, I was over the drug unit myself for a little while because I wanted to make sure we got on our feet in a good way and we started taking the fight to the drug violators early. But it's more of just a continuation of what we've been doing, keeping the pressure on the drug problem because if you sit on your hands, it won't go away. It'll get worse, and we know that. But it's recognized as a problem. We all agree with that, and we're going to keep the pressure on them as long as I'm sheriff. That's a guarantee.
Chris, this question is also for you. What should be done in the next 4 years to combat ongoing problems of illegal drugs and overdose deaths in our county?
You know, we always heard President Trump say, drill, baby, drill. I think for our drugs, it's dogs, baby, dogs. I think we need more dogs on patrol, not only as a drug enforcement dog, but you have a multi-purpose dog. That's one of the greatest tools that you can have. There's also a thing that is called predictive analytics. And y'all are thinking, what in the world is predictive analytics? You can take the information from the reports that a deputy writes, and you can tell when, where, and what happened in an area, and you can compile that data and put your patrol where they need to be and use them most effectively. We do that now, and I'm telling you, it works. The first thing in force continuum is officer presence. How many of you drive down the road, see a sheriff's department car, city police car, or highway patrol car? You can be doing the speed limit, but guess what? You're going to slow down just because. Well, I think that being in the hot zones, doing the right things, is the right thing to do. But the second part of that is we have to have these drug guys, we have to make sure they're on their A game, because at one moment they can make a simple possession case or they can make the mother load case. And we want to make sure that we get fully prosecution. We want to make sure that we get the mess out because it's affecting families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, what should be done in the next 4 years to combat ongoing problems of illegal drugs and overdose deaths in our county?
So when you start talking about this, you're talking my game. Most of my time at the sheriff's department, I was in the narcotics unit. We were the #1 unit in the state. We've gone from a 4-man unit to a 2-man unit. Drug cases are down, but we've got to get back to that 4-man unit. We've got to start going after the dealers. We've got to meet with the DA's office. We've got to get a game plan up of how to prosecute and make these cases stick. I've seen several lately that's going to court and are getting tossed out. That comes with training. We've got to get these investigators in there, get them trained, and get them out here, get proactive officers out here instead of reactive. We're making small cases, we're not making big cases. When before, when I was in the unit, we were making large cases. We need to get back to that. And I think with a 4-man unit that's trained and proactive, we can get back to that.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, you get the question first this round. Why should the people of Lawrence County trust you as their sheriff?
Well, I said it earlier. I'm going to hold people accountable. I think that's how you make a department strong is, once again, expectations and accountability. We will get back into communities. I think it's terrible that the only time someone sees law enforcement is in a bad situation. And it's not the sheriff's department, it's the highway patrol, it's the city. They only see us in a bad situation. Think about how a kid feels every time they see a police officer. They took mom and daddy to jail. Well, we have to start going to these ball games. We have to start going to these community functions. The most important thing for you to trust me is trustworthiness. I want to do the things, the little things that make you think this guy is good to go. And what I mean by that, I think transparency is huge. In today's time, being transparent, you got to tell the bad stuff along with the good stuff. And every one of us up here knows we've seen people make mistakes that you have to tend to. But with these auditors that's going around now, I'm telling you, you just have to be open. Your book's got to be open. And to be honest with you, what do you have to hide if you're doing the right thing? Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Mills, same question. Why should the people of Lawrence County trust you as their sheriff?
Well, my 26 years in law enforcement has all been here in Lawrence County. You know, I've had opportunities to go other places, Highway Patrol, Alaska State Police, Honolulu. I think my wife's still mad at me over that one. But I have stayed here. I've stayed in Lawrence County. I haven't moved off, took a job elsewhere, because this is my home. And this is where I want to make a difference. And we can make a difference. We can get things built back up at the department and get the people's trust again. And I think that I've showed that with my career, of staying home and staying true to the people here in Lawrence County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Wait a minute, we got John Myers. John Myers, same question. Why should the people of Lawrence County trust you as their sheriff?
Well, before I answer that, I want to bring up something Gary said just a second ago, where he said that we don't make any big drug cases. The two biggest methamphetamine seizures ever taken down in this county has been under my administration. I wanted to point that out. And I also wanted to point something out that Chris said. He said something about auditors. We get audited every year like every other government agency in Lawrence County, and we've never had a finding. We have a good standing with the auditors, and we've never had a finding. I just wanted to point that out. As far as trust, I think I can fall back on my track record. When I took office in 2018, I made promises, and we made good on those promises. One of the things that we did when we took office was, one of the things that I promised was that we was going to identify, uncover, and get rid of any wasteful spending, and we started doing that on day one. Another thing that we did that I said that we were going to do when I took office was, again, implement that zero tolerance policy. That was something that I said I was going to do, and I did that. A few other things that I said that I was going to do, you can look back at my track record and see that I did exactly that. So I would rely on my track record. And when I say track record, that is the most important thing that you can look at when you're looking at a candidate, because candidates can say a lot of things to you, but they can't hide their track record. So I always preach that when somebody is looking at a pick for an office. Always check somebody's track record. You can do a little research and see what they've done in the past and see if they've held true to their promises. Thank you.
Okay, and so anytime a candidate mentions another candidate in this debate, we will give them a chance for rebuttals. Gary, you're first. You have 30 seconds for a rebuttal.
Yeah, I think John's right as far as the methamphetamine, largest under his, largest cocaine, largest heroin, largest mushroom, largest marijuana was under mine in the narcotics unit. So what I was talking about in that is constant cases, big cases. not one or two cases here or there. You know, we can talk numbers as far as large amounts seized. It's just constant seizures.
Okay. Chris, you get a 30-second rebuttal as well.
So when I was talking about the audit, I wasn't talking about the comptroller. I was talking about those First Amendment guys that come in that want to put the camera in your face and say, hey, I'm here to do an audit.
I misunderstood. you.
Yeah,
I
no,
apologize.
I promise you, I would never, I'm not getting into that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, I was just, yeah, I would, no, nothing.
I heard auditors.
No, yeah, I'm talking about the First Amendment guys that'll come up and say, hey,
The
I'm,
YouTubers.
yeah, that's them.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
that. No. Sorry about that.
All right, Gary, question for you. What improvements, if any, are needed at the county jail?
So I believe the biggest right now is maintenance. They need to be staffed more. I received a call the other day, don't know that it's true. I mean, that's easy to find out. I got a call and said there was 3 working inside the jail, corrections officers. That's, you know, that's dangerous. That's dangerous for the corrections officers and that's dangerous for the inmates. Biggest thing is maintenance. We've went a few times and tried to pull video from things that's occurred there at the jail, and the cameras, we're always told they're not working. I made an arrest the other day, was sitting in booking, and could hear buzzing and clicking to the point it was driving me crazy. There's 2 other officers and a magistrate in there. Finally, I stopped and said, "What is that?" They told me it was the secure door that goes into the jail, locking and unlocking, and said it'd been doing that for a couple of weeks now. I just think maintenance, there's some issues there that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. John, what improvements, if any, are needed at the county jail?
Well, the jail is something that I'm very proud of. The jail is better than it's ever been. And I can tell you that not because I'm sheriff. I can say that because I see it every day I go back there. My jail administrator and her staff is as good as people can be, and they do a phenomenal job. Anybody that's ever worked in the jail knows that it's one of the most stressful jobs in law enforcement. I tell people, if you can do that job, you can do any job. As far as any maintenance issues, I'm not aware of any of that, but what I can tell you is, the jail right now, has more, programs in it for inmates. And that's something I'm very proud to say, because you're looking at somebody that didn't believe in programs. You're looking at somebody that didn't believe that that was my responsibility. I had the thought process that that was something the judicial system was supposed to fix, not me. But I found out that I was doing a huge disservice to the community by not offering that in the jail and trying to get some of these people back on their feet. Now, not all of them deserve some of these chances. I've got people back there in jail that don't need to see the light of day. But there are some people back there that do need some help, and if we can get them clean and get them slick with the court system and get them back out on their feet, they can be model citizens. So I'm very proud of the steps that we've taken in the jail, and I'm very proud of our jail staff. Again, they do a phenomenal job, and I would like to think that our efforts have improved the recidivism rate in this county too.
Chris, what improvements, if any, are needed at the county jail?
So I don't think it's only a jail issue. I think it's an overall officer issue. I don't think that we're trained in mental health enough. I think that an addiction is a disease. And I think that we should at least give everybody the training on mental health. There's a couple of things, the reason I like to say that. If you can treat someone with mental health, that means that you're correcting their issue that may keep them repeating their tenure at the Lawrence County Jail. Think about this. If you want to talk a little bit about the budget, every time people comes into the jail, and that goes against the sheriff's budget because you have medical, you have this, that, and everything else that goes with it. For our jailers, I don't think you can get enough help, and the sheriff already knows it's hard to keep somebody working in the jail. So you have to try and find somebody there that wants to stay in there. And here's something else I think we need to do with the inmates. I think we need a work release. There is no excuse why a church house or a cemetery is nasty in Lawrence County. Every time that there's a national disaster, there needs to be a team of inmates, and he may do that. I'm just telling you what I think. And if he does, that's a great thing. So I think we could utilize our inmates on national disasters also.
Thank you. Next question. John, do you want a 30-second rebuttal on that?
Yes, please.
Okay, can we give John a 30-second rebuttal on that, timekeeper?
So as far as the mental health training, we've got our jail administrator and our head nurse back there in the jail trained to train. They went to the trainer class on crisis intervention, and it's really paid dividends. We're currently getting a lot more of our deputies through that training too. And there's also programs specifically for inmates back there that's struggling with either addiction or generational trauma. I mean, you name it, I've got it back there in jail. So we're already doing that.
Thank you, John. Next question goes to you first, John. What distinguishes you from the other candidates?
Well, I think first, the obvious that I'm the Republican candidate out of the three. And the second, I would say I'm the incumbent. And I'm currently sheriff, and I've been sheriff for a little over 7.5 years. So, I have the experience to do the job. When I tell people about my job, I tell them it comes with a mountain of stress and a ton of responsibility. There's no way until you've been in these boots that you can compare the amount of stress that these guys, and I mean, they're good dudes, but they have no idea the stress that they would be under if they got this job. You really can't talk about it. But, I think that's it. I'm good.
All right, thank you, John. Chris Hanna, same question. What distinguishes you from the other candidates?
I've got 33 years doing this, and I've had several different jobs within the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office. Just last week, I was at the Republican Governor's Conference. Nope, I'm not running as a Republican. Guess what I'm running as? Lawrence County. And I want everybody to support me. I'm not going to treat a Democrat different than a Republican. But I did have the opportunity to go to the Republican conference, and I was with the Republican governor. So I just want people to know that I'm not going to say it makes me different, because these two guys are sworn to the same Constitution and standards that I am. I just want you to know, if you vote for me for sheriff and I get elected, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or whatever you are, you have my best interest. Thank you.
Gary Mills, same question. What distinguishes you from the other candidates?
The difference with us is I've spent most of my career at that department. I was on patrol. I've been the FTO, the field training officer, been K-9 handler, narcotics investigator, criminal investigator. I've worked just about every aspect of the sheriff's department that you can work. I know how it runs. I know what works, what doesn't work. Work for different sheriffs. And you find out quick what works and doesn't work. As far as doing the job, we've all done the job. But the biggest difference with us is I spent most of my career at that department. Thank you.
Chris Hanna, what would you cut if the budget was reduced?
There's a number of things you can cut. If you have extra training, you can cut training. But let me say this. I'm the type of person, if you bring me a problem, I'm going to bring you a solution. There's grants that a person can apply for that maybe help you offset that. If that doesn't work, guess what? There's a lot of good police officers in Lawrence County and surrounding counties that I promise you, you can find enough instructors to do some specialized training. Another thing that you could cut is out-of-state travel or travel within the state. That's simple things. You cannot cut people. You cannot cut their pay because they're already working with a tough salary anyway. So that's just a couple of things that you can cut. There's more, but those are the two of the things that I think would be important. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Mills, what would you cut if the budget was reduced?
Nothing. There's nothing I can think of that you would want to cut. People ask that question all the time about the budget. How can you save money? What can you do? Yet they don't ask EMS to cut theirs. They don't ask fire to cut theirs. Yet we're usually the first ones on scene, but we're the first ones they ask about cutting the budget. You know, doesn't matter what the budget is, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to protect the citizens of Lawrence County, no matter what cuts or what they do with it. If you had to just pinpoint something and say you have to pick something, you may have to drive vehicles an extra year. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff John Myers, what would you cut if the budget was reduced?
Well, I gotta agree with Gary, much as I hate to. No, they ask us every year to cut our budget, and we fight them tooth and nail on it. Shane can even adhere to this, you know. They expect us to shave some off of a line item here and a line item there, and it's just, it's almost impossible. And my mindset is with cutting the budget is why? Why do you want me to cut my budget? We're doing our due diligence to offset taxpayer dollars all the time. You mentioned some grants, Chris. We're at $3.7 million right now in taxpayer savings through grants that we've been able to do over the last 3 years. One of the most proudest things that I can say, me and the other sheriffs pushed this through state legislation, is getting our SRO funding nailed down. Now the state picks up all of our SRO funding. That was money that we already had budgeted, that we turned around and put and left in our budget where we could use that for raises, because we were able to get 20% raises, biggest raises since William Dornan was in office. We also got a mental health transport grant. That was a huge burden on the taxpayers, and me and the other sheriffs, we pushed that through and got that funded. So now we don't have to foot the bill for that. We most recently got a 50-50 match grant to pay for new plates in our bulletproof vests, because they're only good for 5 years. So we got to get them, we got to get new ones every 5 years. So we're doing our due diligence for this county.
Thank you. Gary Mills, next question. What would be your priorities if the department received additional funding?
We're going to add to the budget now. So one of the big things is training, and training leads to so much. It makes a professional department. The more training you can get, you know, it's going to build morale, which is in turn going to do officer retention. When the deputies start realizing you're there for them and you're spending money to get them further along in their career, it just makes for a lot better department. Thank you.
Thank you. John Myers, same question. What would be your priorities if the department received additional funding?
Probably manpower. If you live in Lawrence County, you know that we're growing, and it's a manageable growth right now, but it's still growing. Maybe not like Williamson County or Davidson County or Rutherford County, something like that, but we're still growing, and at some point we're going to have to add some additional manpower. We've been able to do everything that we've been able to do at the sheriff's office without raising taxes, so I don't want to be a burden on the taxpayers, and I don't think we will with the growth that we're seeing in this county. But with more people come more problems and more violators, and we're going to need the manpower. And you're looking at over $300,000 just to hire 4 deputies to put one on each shift. But at some point, we're going to have to commit to that. And it may not be for another 2 or 3 years. I don't know what the last census is. I think we probably might be over 50,000 in this county in the next 5 years. Ryan can probably tell me on that, but we're getting close to that number. And the closer we get, the more likelihood is that we're going to have to add some manpower. So if there was extra funding, that's something that I would most likely spend it on.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, same question. What would be your priorities if the department received additional funding?
First of all, I think you spread the pay for the people that's in the battlefield. I think if you make the pay competitive, you don't have the turnover like you have. I think training, like John said, training, it costs a lot to equip an officer. It costs a lot. Every time you lose one, if you can't get a certified officer, guess what? You have to send them through training and you have to equip them. So I think you try and do things to make it appealing to where they don't want to leave. And to be better than that, they want their buddy to come join. Equipment. All police officers like the new, coolest gadgets, whether it's a gun, whether it's a taser, whether it's whatever, a LPR. They like equipment. And the last but not least is vehicles. I think that all officers want to be riding in a cool vehicle, one that don't break down. When John and I worked at the Sheriff's Department, we got Highway Patrol rejects, and we were so dang happy with those things. But it's changed a little bit. They have vehicles now. And I just think if you add stuff to make it appealing, that's some of the things that you can do. Pay, equipment, and then vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff John Myers, in your opinion, is Lawrence County prepared for natural disasters or large-scale emergencies? Why or why not?
100% yes. And if you've ever been to a natural disaster in this county and you've seen our EMA working, you would say the same thing. We've got top-notch people, and I'm going to go on ahead and call him out, Shelton Barnett. He's worth his weight in gold, and we're fortunate to have him in this county. We do have contingency plans in place for certain types of disasters, but for the most part, when you see these guys mobilize and show up to an area that's been affected by a tornado or some other kind of natural disaster, I'm never surprised, but I'm always impressed at what these guys can do and how well they move. If you've ever seen ants, how they work together, it's something similar to the EMA professionals that we have in this community. They all know what they're doing. They all have a role. Normally, if I'm in the area or I get called to this disaster, I just kind of roll up and say, "What do you need from me? I'll be over here. You tell me what you need from me." I don't even get in their way because they're that good. But yeah, we're 100% ready for anything that could come our way. I have every bit of the confidence in the world in our EMA.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, in your opinion, is Lawrence County prepared for natural disasters or large-scale emergencies? Why or why not?
I don't know that I can answer that honestly because I've been away for 24 years. But let me say this, I do know that Lawrence County has capable people in position to make it successful. But now what happens from time to time when you get all those capable people together, you're going to start having more chiefs and not enough Indians. So just like John says, you have to have a contingency plan. You have to follow it. And I'm going to tell you something that I think is more important than the contingency plan is the after action plan, because you can always, just like I said earlier, you can always get better at everything you do. And let me say this, when you say disaster, everybody's thinking about, well, this is Lawrence County. We have tornadoes. Sure we do. But I'm telling you right now, we're a bad day from a school shooting or something like that happening. Are we prepared for that? And I know they have trained. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't know. But I tell you, stuff like that is very important to me, to make sure that it's taken care of, because our kids are our future. Our people that live in Lawrence County are our bosses. So if you have a natural disaster, guess what? All hands on deck. Here we go. Once again, talking about the jail, that's where you utilize your inmates. The county highway department will cut the wood, we'll stack it. And I'll add to that, in the wintertime, if you do that, you can utilize the wood because there's elderly people that can't get out and the sheriff's department will bring them some wood.
Gary Mills, in your opinion, is Lawrence County prepared for natural disasters or large-scale emergencies? Why or why not?
It really depends on what it is. As far as most things, yes, and I agree with John. Shelton does an amazing job. He's constantly calling me. I handle our DOD program, stuff we can get in from the military, and he's constantly looking for more stuff. I know the Loretto Police Department just donated, I think it was like $200,000 worth of hazmat equipment to him, but he don't stop there. He continues to look. We've also got all of our fire departments here. Tyler McDowell does a great job with them. Their training center, I got to spend some time over there the other day. It's amazing what they're doing over there and the training they are doing. So yes, I think most things we can handle. Just like I said, it just depends on what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, what is one misconception voters may have about you that you would like to correct?
I don't know.
Can I answer that
Go ahead.
for you?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think this is what a lot of people think, and I actually had a commissioner from the south end of the county to look at me straight in the face and tell me he wasn't going to vote for me because I was a state trooper. Okay? You can't run the sheriff's department like you run the highway patrol. It's two different workings. It's totally different. You do traffic enforcement for the highway patrol and maintain the highways, make sure that they're safe. The county maintains the jail, maintains the schools, maintains every citizen in Lawrence County, leads funerals. There's a lot of different things. We can't forget the animal shelter. The sheriff's department also keeps the animal shelter up. So, I just think that we just need to focus on the sheriff and not focus on the highway patrol, if that's your concern with me, because I know it's two different things. And once again, I have 9 years with the sheriff's office here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Gary Mills, same question. What is one misconception voters may have about you that you would like to correct?
Just one. I don't know. One thing I've heard is, wanting the job just for the title, and that's not true. I'm not into titles. Could care less about the title. That badge belongs to the people of Lawrence County, so titles mean nothing to me. I've had them say you're wanting the pay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what the sheriff makes. Probably pretty good, ain't it, John?
Chris makes more than I do.
Does he?
I made that known. I'm getting a 10% raise too in July.
Thank you.
I make a living doing what I do, so it's not about the money. It's not about the title. It's about the citizens. It's about the deputies. That's the whole reason I'm running, to come in and put my spin on it. And John and I are friends. We've got difference of opinion how things should run. He's got his way, and I've got my way, and that would be the only thing I've got on it.
Thank you. John Myers, what is one misconception voters may have about you that you would like to correct?
Before I answer that, I want to say something about something Chris said and he's mentioned it twice about inmate labor and the work release program. We have a work release program, a very successful work release program in the jail right now, and we do use inmate labor in the case of natural disasters. But you have to be really careful with inmate labor. And Susan can tell you a story, when I first took office about inmate labor, and I had an idea, and she said, that's a great idea if you don't mind being in federal court next week. So you have to be very careful with inmate labor, but we do utilize that whenever possible. As far as any misconceptions about me, I mean, I hear people say I've got a low handicap and I play golf all the time. Well, that's not true. And I blame these two guys for that for the last 8 months, because if they wouldn't have thrown their hat in the race, I've been able to play more golf and my handicap would be a little bit lower. Trent's making faces at me, he knows. I don't really know about misconceptions with me. My mom used to tell me, son, don't ever get too big for your britches. And it's always hit home for me. I've always taken that to heart. I'm just a humble person, I believe in being thankful every day that you wake up in this great country and you stand on your own 2 feet. I was taught that at a very young age, to stay humble and don't ever get too big for your britches. So as far as any misconceptions about me, I mean, there's not a lot of difference between Sheriff Myers and John Myers. I can tell you that. What you see here tonight is pretty much what you see 24/7 with me. I don't try to be anything bigger than what I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, we'll give you a 30-second rebuttal.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, he's going to pass on rebuttal.
All right. Gary Mills, what role should the sheriff office play in schools and youth outreach?
So we've got, I believe it's 14 school resource officers. They do an outstanding job in our schools. As far as what we need to do with the sheriff's department, I know a few years back, I was able to help with a summer camp that they put on for the youth. We had a real good time with that. Enjoyed it. Got to deal with a lot of kids. I just think we need to get back into doing more of that. I spend a lot of my time coaching ball. So I enjoy being out with our kids and spending time with them. So I just believe if we can get into some more of the summer camps and just being part of their lives. Thank you.
Okay. Sheriff John Myers, what role should the sheriff's office play in schools and youth outreach?
Well, we're fortunate that we've got an SRO in all of our schools. A lot of counties across the state can't say that. But we're fortunate, and I can't say enough good things about my deputies that work in the schools every day. There's so many examples of how those guys go above and beyond in the schools, and they're not just there to provide safety and security for the students and the faculty. I mean, they're counselors, they're advisors, they're mentors, they're role models. I mean, they've got a lot of hats that they wear. And I know for a fact there's been multiple times that these guys have stayed over late to work with kids that are either being bullied at school or they've got trouble at home, giving them rides to ball games and ball practice and back home. There's no limit to what they do at that school, and my hats are off to them, and we're very fortunate, like I said, to have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Hannum, what role should the sheriff's office play in schools and youth outreach?
I think they ought to play a significant role because the kids are our future. I want to have a camp in the summertime for that kid that is right here, teeter-totting on that line of making bad decisions or making good decisions. In today's society, kids don't have families like we had. We're blessed. They fight different demons than we have to fight. I also know that there's churches that's got several organizations that will help with these kids, and I don't know a better way to help a kid get on the right track than church. But back to the school, back to the summer camp. I think we need to do a summer camp, and I've spoke with Mr. Atkins about this, and he's told me that he has the ability, if there's a kid that may be needing a half a credit or a credit, being the school superintendent, he can do that. What we got to do is make a kid that's struggling to have self-worth. What does that do? It keeps them off drugs. What does that do? It helps them make bad decisions when helps them make good decisions when it's a bad situation. If we, as an organization, can do that, you know what it's going to do? It's also going to show that kid that I said earlier, every time they see the police officers in a bad way, it'll see us in a better way because we changed their life.
Thank you. John Myers, how do you interpret the sheriff's responsibility to uphold both the United States Constitution and Tennessee state law?
Well, being a constitutional sheriff is more than just saying that you'll abide by the Constitution or in my opinion, being a constitutional sheriff is living by that and leaning hard on what it reads. The first three words are "we the people," and it sets the standard for the rest of it. But it's more of a mindset. And if you've ever been in my office, you'll see that I have a copy of the Constitution and my dad's Bible on display and on a little display case. And that's something that I look at every time that I have to make a decision that I know is going to affect the people in this community. There's mandated duties and responsibility as sheriff by law that I have to follow. But my number one priority, my number one responsibility to the people in this community is to protect their individual rights as American citizens. That's always going to be number one. And I made it clear, and if you ever heard the saying, that's a hill that I'll die on, that's a hill that I'll die on. But I've made it clear for a really long time that I will stand shoulder to shoulder with the people in this community if there's ever some kind of government overreach or government control that comes down or mob rule. I've made that clear. And I'm proud to say that I'm a constitutional sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, same question. How do you interpret the sheriff's responsibility to uphold both the United States Constitution and Tennessee state law?
The Constitution was written to protect the citizens from the government. That's our guideline to do what we do. The Constitution. You look at all the amendments in it. First, second, fourth, 15th, that's the ones that keeps coming up. It's our job and our obligation to make sure that everybody that deals with somebody does not infringe on those rights. And let me say that, they're rights. Every God-given American, if you're an American citizen, you have those rights. Some people need to understand those rights are for everyone, not just when it's convenient. Everybody has the same rights, equal. Equal. If you train the people that deal with the citizens, one of the quickest ways you can get in a lawsuit is to violate someone's civil rights. And it happens all the time. Watch the news. So once again, that will be as question number 4 or 5, whichever one it was. If you get sued, that's a deduction from your budget, not only for the sheriff's office, for the citizens of Lawrence County. So we have to make sure that the lawsuits are at a minimal and make sure everybody's trained. They're going to get judged on 3 things: policy and procedure, training, federal and state laws. If you do those 3 things right, you're going to be okay. But if you miss one of them, get the checkbook out.
Thank you. Gary Mills, same question. How do you interpret the sheriff's responsibility to uphold both the United States Constitution and Tennessee state law?
So all 3 of us have took the same oath to uphold the Constitution and uphold Tennessee laws. You know, it don't say you can pick and choose. It's all of them. It's kind of like Chris said, you know, if you violate that, then get ready. You're gonna be sued. But I can tell you, all law enforcement takes that oath. I don't know any that wouldn't stand up here and tell you, yes, they're going to stand behind your constitutional rights. And, you know, as far as any of us, you know, elected sheriff, we can say that we're a constitutional sheriff because of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Hanna, what is one promise you're willing to make to voters tonight?
Give you an 110% every day. What is that? Putting your needs before mine? Trying to fix every problem that you may have as a citizen? Being there if you need someone? Just giving you everything I got, because there's a whole lot of trust, and John said this earlier, the pressure, the stuff that you get from a day-to-day, the stress. Okay. I promise to give you everything I got. I promise to put your needs first. It's worth repeating. Lawrence County is a great place. And the three of us up here, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think Lawrence County is going to get better. I just want to make Lawrence County the best I can for my grandkids to grow up in, your grandkids to grow up in, your family to grow up in. I want it to be safe. I want you to be proud of it. Every time you see a sheriff's department car or whatever, I want you to look at that and say, that's my guys right there. They'll go to bat for me, and that's what I stand for. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Mills, what is one promise you're willing to make to voters tonight?
To be a working sheriff, to be present, to not only to the citizens of Lawrence County, but to the deputies. You know, they should see you there. Going to work on retaining officers, build drug units. You know, we've got an opportunity that we can build this department back up and get it to where I believe it once was. And that's just by being present and letting your officers know you're backing them. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff John Myers, what is one promise you're willing to make to voters tonight?
It's the same promise that I've been making for the past 7.5 years. And I'm not big on promises. It's real easy to make a promise and then something go wrong and you can't fulfill that promise. And I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to look at somebody and promise that I'm going to do something and then find out that I can't and have to eat those words. But, you know, I had a sheriff tell me a long time ago, not long after I took office, he said, John, he said, just work hard and do the right thing. He said, if you'll do that, you'll be fine. And that's what I do, and that's an easy promise. And I can make that promise not just for me, but for my command staff who's sitting here with me today. We all work hard, and we all keep our nose clean. You don't have to worry about us not doing that. So that's an easy promise.
Thank you. So we have a bonus question. And a lot of people have been asking this question. And Gary Mills, we're starting with you first, sir. A lot of controversy are coming with flock cameras. Some are for it, some are against it. What is your opinion of instituting or not instituting flock cameras in Lawrence County?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about them to really tell you an opinion on it. You know, I've heard good things, hadn't heard the bad things. I know they've, you know, caught some people they need to, but I just, to be honest, I don't know enough about the cameras to tell you either way.
Okay. Sheriff John Myers, a lot of controversy with flock cameras. Some are for it, some against it. What is your opinion of instituting or not flock cameras in Lawrence County?
Well, we don't have them. We were kicking around the idea of getting them. They are a useful tool in law enforcement, but I understand that there's some concerns with some of the citizens about intrusion, and I get it. I'm kind of right there with you. Again, they are useful. There's cases that's been made. There's child molesters that's been caught. There's murderers that's been caught. So it is a useful tool. But also you have to, I had a guy tell me, you know, a while back, who said that if, he doesn't care how useful they are. He thinks that they could intrude on his privacy, and I get that. That's always a possibility. What I can tell you is if we ever moved forward with getting these cameras, it's something that I would hold some type of a town hall meeting with the citizens and invite everybody to come sit down and weigh in. And I would go with what the consensus view is on it. Because me being in law enforcement, I know they're a useful tool, but also I'm an American citizen too, and I don't want any intrusion on my privacy. So it's kind of a 50-50 right now. But if we ever did move forward with them, I would make sure that the community is aware of that, and I would invite them to come and sit down and even get a representative from that company to sit down and talk about their product.
Chris Hanna, a lot of controversy with flock cameras. Some are for it, some against it. What is your opinion of instituting or not flock cameras in Lawrence County?
Yeah, I'll go along with what John said. I think there's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. I think there's other ways to maybe do that. LPRs, you can get that, you can use those mobile. I just think there's other ways of doing it. And we just talked about the Constitution. And I really think that when you start doing that, there's some fine lines there. I think you have to weigh it out. And I don't know that the good outweighs the bad. For right now, that's something that may be in the future. If you pay attention, technology is coming, and it's coming at a rapid pace. So I don't know right yet. That's something that would have to. I mean, John said it. You need to have a study and have a town hall. So that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you're each going to be given 3 minutes for a closing statement. And as we drew numbers in the beginning, we're going to start with Gary Mills first. Gary, you have 3 minutes for a closing statement.
Started first with me all night. Folks, like I said, I am Gary Mills. I am not a politician. I hate this right here. Do not like doing it. I'm a police officer. If elected sheriff, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an officer. You're not going to have, somebody that's doing a podcast, several times a week or headlining events. I'll be at the sheriff's department doing what you elect me to do. My goal is to build the department up, get our drug unit back up, our investigations up, get training in place, and just start retaining officers. They talk about money. Money's great, coming in and throwing at officers, but we got them a raise last time and it didn't help. They're still leaving. So we've got to do something different. It's time for some new ideas, fresh ideas, and I would love the opportunity to represent you. As I said earlier, that badge belongs to you. I'd love to have your vote and come in and lead the sheriff's department to the future. Thank you.
Thank you. John Myers, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you for putting this on and having us out here. I appreciate it. I tell people I'm never going to miss an event like this because it's a good thing for us to get out of our comfort zone and get in front of a few people and a camera and a microphone. Because believe you me, if you can't handle a little bit of stress like this to stand up in front of a few people, you sure can't handle the stress of being sheriff. I know that from experience. But I hope people really listen tonight, and I hope they listen to what we said and how we said it and how we looked when we were saying it, and they picked up on a few things. And I hope if anybody was on the fence that we solidified their decision tonight, and hopefully it was for me. But and I've said this 1,000 times probably over the past 8-10 months, that the sheriff's office is in a really good place. Believe you me. I'm in there almost every day and I see it with my own eyes. I'm not saying that because I'm sheriff. I'm saying it because I see it and I witness it. It's in a really good place right now. And I said this last time. If the old saying is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the sheriff's office isn't broke. It's better than it's been in a long time. And we want to continue doing the great things that we've been doing for this community. And with all that being said, I need your help. I need your support. And most importantly, I need your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Hanna, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Lawrence County, this is why you should make me your sheriff. When I started, I didn't have an idea what I wanted to do. Everybody kept coming to me saying, run, run. I said, I don't know if the time's right. Run, run. I don't know if the time's right. We was at a Christmas breakfast and Sheriff Dorning pulled me to the side and he said, how old are you? So when I was in trouble, he called me Hannah. And when he wanted to kid with me, he called me Hanner. So he said, Hanner, come here. He said, how old are you? And I told him. He said, it's time. It's time to run. And I'm like, I wasn't going to tell Sheriff Dorning, I don't know. I said, woo. And I walked off. It went on a little longer, and someone else came up to me and he said, you need to run for sheriff. And I said, I don't know if it's right. And something hit me. You know how you get them tugs at your heart? I got this tug at my heart. Went to my car and I sat down. I closed my eyes. I said, Lord, I need your guidance. I need your wisdom, and I need your direction. Here I am. He didn't tell me that I was going to win the sheriff's election, but he told me get in there and give it all you can have. And that's what I'm doing. People come up to me now and say, how's it going? I don't know how it's going, but I can tell you how it's going to go. And they look at me real funny like, good Lord, are you that arrogant? No, I'm not arrogant. I'm not that arrogant. I'm sure of this. If the Lord above wants me to be sheriff, guess what I'm going to be? If the Lord above wants me to continue being a Tennessee State Trooper, guess what I'm going to be? I win either way. I win either way because I get to serve people. I'm at the end of my tenure. The only reason I'm running is not because John's doing a bad job or John's done this. I'm at the end of my career. I've given 24 years of my career to other communities. Guess what? I'm going to come home and give the last little bit I got. My promise was to give you 100%. That's what you're going to get, 100%. Yes, we all have bad days, but guess what? You have people to pick you up. You have people to help you weather the storm, and there's going to be storms. Yes, I'm going to make mistakes. The good Lord above was the only one that roamed this earth that didn't make a mistake, and they crucified him. This is what I'm going to give you. Passion, compassion, love, and 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Lawrence County. We have just heard from the three candidates for sheriff. And we are truly blessed to have these three gentlemen running for office. Thank you all for being cordial and letting people get to know who you are. Brandon and I, we always have a couple of sayings. Give them a microphone and they will tell you who they are. And we also like to say, we're not politically correct, we are biblically correct. I'd like to say this, let's give these gentlemen a hand for coming here and telling their constituents who they are.
Lawrence, I'd also like to thank our timekeeper, my lovely wife, Rebecca, who I can stress her out at times while we're up here, and we're trying to keep these times going straight. So special thank you to Rebecca. The radio station here, WLX, WDXE, thank you so much for all the hard work you put into this. The live audience, thank you for being here. You've been very, very respectful. Thank you so much. Also, Lawrence, Strikers Restaurant has sponsored this event. I want to thank them for actually doing that. You and I stopped by Strikers earlier today, and I never had a bad meal at Strikers.
I had a good lunch, didn't you?
I did too. Want to say thank you to the good folks at Strikers Restaurant. Charlotte, we can yield back to you at this time.
So we'll start this next, the county executive in about 15 minutes. Well,
Sounds good.
do we need that long? We have some drinks that if you want to drink, we're selling for $1.
We need a few minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you want to drink, we have a huge selection back there and we'll be ready in about 10 minutes. So just,
Switch a little closer.